So? What are you compiling shaders from Call of Duty?
Yes.
I know, right? I did play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so trust me, I know.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to we're just going to call it the April, or at least I'm just going to call it the April podcast, April anime podcast for Outpost 1018. Um, I am Hikaru Shido. Why don't everyone else introduce yourselves?
Neko here.
I am Strider Baron, also known as Baron, also known as RJ.
All right, good Saturday night, everybody. This is your boy, Striker or Lewis, out here hanging out with these fine lads, watching one of the best animes I've seen.
Oh, all
Damn,
right.
dude.
Yeah, you missed a lot of fun.
All right.
Understandable.
Fair enough. So,
Yeah,
all right, you are the engineer. All right. So for this past 2 months, we decided to watch Soso no Frieren, which we decided to watch because it would end right around mid March, and it was a massive breakout hit. So we definitely had to get this hit the iron while it's hot. Um, and yeah, so So no Frieren is about an elf girl, an elf mage, who was part of the party who defeated the Demon King, and and they decided the show writers decided, or at least the manga writer decided that that would probably be the least interesting thing to write about, because there's a million stories about defeating a demon king. So he decided to write what happens after that instead. Um, which is why the English title is called Frieren Beyond Journey's End, and I assume Soso no Frieren me probably means something like that.
Uh, I did. I did check out, and one of the minutes is funeral procession, Frieren.
Oh, okay,
That is one of the translations I looked up while I was checking the wiki.
all right.
Yeah.
So it's mostly about Frieren, Fern, and Stark, sort of exploring the world on a journey to on a journey to the place where the Demon King used to live. So
Mm.
his castle, and their adventures along the way, and how the knowledge of their and how all the characters' experiences in the past uh, has affected them uh, in the present, and it's really a, a a very different kind of show. It's a very slow paced show, and uh it's mostly about the characters, their motivations, and their interpersonal relationships. with occasional moments when they're in serious danger and intense combat. So yeah, let's jump right into the animation. Now the animation is nothing to shake a stick at. If you think of like some of the best animated like anime movies you've ever seen, like Akira, or some of the like Studio Ghibli movies. Imagine that kind of animation, like consistently, throughout 28 episodes of a TV anime. It must have been a massive undertaking and very expensive.
The budget is the budget itself was insane, considering Madhouse and their legend status when it comes to animation. I mean, these are the same people who also worked on stuff like Demon City Shinjuku or Wicked City
Yeah.
and Redline.
Yeah.
And crazy thing, I want to add this. Well, uh, you remember what when I said about the whole ballroom part in the series? In the manga, there was one panel. They actually went and did they actually did more than that in the dance scene itself, and it was all hand drawn.
Yeah.
That was
Um
insane.
yeah, basically everything's hand drawn. I don't think I can think of a single instance where they actually use CGI, like 3D CGI. If they did, they hit it extremely well. Um
There's also the
what
bonus part with the stop motion during the credits, which was something that most people don't do very often these days.
yeah.
Yeah, sure,
I
I'm sorry.
I one of the first things I noticed, because I kind of watched this out of the blue when I saw people talking about it. I kind of wanted to see what was up with this elf girl. And one of the first things I noticed was they're using like actual painted backgrounds and background animation, which in modern anime that's become kind of a rarity. You usually see rendered backgrounds, and when you have like complicated machinery or really really complicated stuff, you tend to see CGI, and you tend to not see background animation uh, in a lot of modern anime. But this uh, it just gives you the works. It gives you a very high quality hand drawn anime with painted backgrounds for basically the entire show, and it's absolutely fantastic. They're the fight scenes they're few and far between. They're used sparingly, but
To my disappointment.
when they do happen, um, it is extremely well choreographed. Uh, Instead of like a bunch of like really quick shots where you kind of can't see the action, you tend to get a lot of very wide sweeping shots that are all hand drawn. Even like the cameras like orbiting characters, that's all hand drawn. Um, and it's absolutely intense. It's crazy. Um, and I was very, I was pretty much blown away by it. I couldn't believe that they were doing this in a TV anime. Uh, so so yeah, the animation is some of the best thing stuff I've seen in forever. There was they also had a very very nice color palette, a lot of very bright colors. Um, it kind of helps that everything's in sort of in sort of like grassy fields or forests. So there's a lot of green. Um, and the characters all have really nice color palettes. Uh, got these Frieren with her white and gold, uh, Fern with her purple and black, and Stark with his bright red. That everything really pops out.
And,
There's
and then there's sign with the blue and gold, which is one of my personal favorite combinations when it comes to colors.
yeah. Um, and there's another thing I noticed is almost everything is flat shaded. There isn't really much like gradient shading, like you tended to see a lot, almost always in the 2010s. Um, it kind of it's kind of shaded like you would see in 90s anime, where where the all the shadows and highlights are very sudden changes in color. It's all flat shaded, which I think it makes it look good. It's a very good look. It makes the colors pop even more. But I think they also basically kind of had to do that because I could imagine it would be hell doing all this like really complicated animation with gradient shading. Anyone want to jump in?
I will say I appreciated the art style. It was peak. Oh, I wouldn't say peak anime Madhouse because that's Madhouse keeps pushing the limit, but like it was pretty damn good, especially given it's a fantasy anime. They did pretty good to make a fluid fluid animation for a fantasy anime. Um, I mean, they've done like paranormal before. I haven't watched if there are any more fantasy anime by them. I haven't watched any, but this is pretty good. I like it.
Yeah,
If I might add, the fact that the the middle land setting itself was entirely inspired by Germany, medieval
yeah,
Germany.
yeah.
Not
A lot of this is very Germany inspired. Um, a lot of the characters, most of the characters' outfits are very medieval and Renaissance German inspired. Obviously, all the characters' names are German.
yeah, they're all
Uh,
German terms.
so and really all like the towns and the villages, like all the buildings there look pretty German too. Uh, and yeah, I do really respect it's sort of uh consistent art style. You it really feels like it makes it really feel like they're traveling through a real country that real people live in, and real people have like a consistent culture. And telling it through Friren's eyes, where you sort of see where you sort of see the slow changes, the slow but subtle changes in the culture over time. Like there's scenes from like thousands of from like 1,000 years ago, and what what ends up happening is everyone sort of looks kind of Roman. They have a much more like ancient Mediterranean civilization sort of aesthetic going on during
Yeah,
those times.
yeah, a little bit of Roman, a little bit of Greco, and maybe and a little bit of Ottoman even.
Yeah. You see people sort of walking around wearing togas, and you'll see people with bronze bracelets and stuff like that. And that's just for like brief flashback scenes that they do that. But they had that sort of attention to detail where it felt very natural that these places would have looked like that back 1,000 years before the main story.
Mhm.
They put a ton of work into creating that art style and sort of bringing it to life just for relatively brief 10-minute interludes in in uh in a few episodes.
I will say one thing, even though it's manga accurate, I didn't like Aizen's beard or their take on
Yeah.
Freyren's ears. Like her ears in the manga look kind of they look sharper. You know what I mean? What I mean by sharper, like both angular wise, it's like there's like her ears are pointing to 2 o'clock in the manga. In
Yeah.
anime, her ears are pointing to 3 o'clock, and just my OCD is just going off.
Yeah, they definitely extend like too far like sideways out of her head for my liking. And Aizen's like his design it just doesn't do it for me. Like his entire face is just covered in facial hair. And I like is that just common for dwarves? Like do they have like beard coming down from their lower eyelids? Um
Mhm.
it's really weird.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, Captain Caveman. That is kind of what he looks like, isn't it?
He looks like Captain Caveman with a Viking helmet.
I didn't know this until now. Damn.
Yeah. So he he definitely could have had a better design.
I was
Um
expecting him to at least look a bit more like the dwarf character from Golden Axe 1.
yeah.
That's
So
good.
anyone else have any takes on the animation?
Honestly, I really like the environment. I really like the ambience. I really like the detail is incredible. Actually, it's very rare that a studio like that puts so much soul into something like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these
Let's
are go
let's
ahead, sorry.
move on to the music and sound effects. Um because I also have a bit to say about the music itself, about the scoring. Um it kind of feels like they sort of went back like 30 years uh and scored the show more like how you would score a movie or TV show in a fantasy setting, uh, like basically from the '60s to like basic, basically like the 2000s,
Fun
where
fact: the guy who came up with the scoring was none other than Evan Cole, whose famous work previously was Ballad Evergarden.
ah Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that show had a pretty damn good soundtrack too. Um,
I never watched it, but it's on one of those lists. I saw the
we've
animation.
we've
It,
reviewed Violet Evergarden. Were you just not
no,
there?
no, I
Huh.
never watched. I never watched about Evergarden, dude.
Huh. I
You
guess
should
you
go.
just weren't there for that podcast. Um, but yeah, the music in this show, um, it's very it's very orchestral. It doesn't have really any like electronic music in it
Mm.
at all, as far as
Um,
I can remember.
well, with the exception of the first intro, which is made by Yoasobi, the same people who are responsible for Idol and other absolute bangers
Yeah,
when it comes. But but Yusha was more. I had noticed something, Josh. If you listen to that song, you will notice some dance hall influence in the with the steel drum parts in the melody. But
yeah,
the outro, though, the outro is where it really shines.
yeah. Go on.
Yeah, basically, anytime, anywhere by Millet is actually the. This should have been the intro instead of the outro, but I'll be honest with you. The second one, which was Haru by Yorushika, it was actually a better theme in my opinion. It's a little controversial. I love Jocelyn, but Yorushika really nailed it with the second intro. The
Yeah,
outro itself, they even go one step further and rearrange the outro halfway to the second core. Yeah, because this is a second core. This is a core one, core two series, and frankly, it I still have the ending song in my head playing as I listen to it so many times. It's that good.
yeah. As far as the show's scoring, um, they they have appropriate music for basically every scene. They have a lot of like very almost uh memorial sort of sort of types of music for the very contemplative kind of scenes, or like the or like music that's designed to match with like the character's nostalgia. Their battle music is uh it it like contains it's still orchestral, but contains a lot of like fast percussion, and it gets the blood pumping pretty well. Basically every track uh really reaches towards the viewer and just brings them into the scene in an incredible way. It's not just set dressing. It's good music in and of itself, and it enhances every scene that it's used in, and it's quite fantastic. So some of the best scoring I've seen in an anime in a long time.
Dude, if I had to mention one, I would have to say the clone battle music. That was some intense shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
especially when Frieren gets in, and especially when Frieren and Fern uh go into that tag team battle with herself. Oh, oh man, that was brilliant.
oh
That was
yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
it's really brilliant, and and like you cannot go wrong with the animation there either. It's like it's absolutely crazy.
It was
Um
beautiful.
uh so yeah, As for the sound effects, they're I actually don't have too much to say about them. They're definitely they I can't the thing with sound effects, even more so than with music, is you only notice them if they're either like really good or really bad. Um, and I could and I can't really think of a time when the sound effects like stuck like really stuck out at me. There isn't
Oh,
anything that's like the Halo Combat Evolved Assault Rifle, which is insanely good. And there also isn't anything like the time that guy's neck got snapped in Dr. Stone and it made a cutting sound, which which I still remember to this day because it was that bad. Um
I did feel something really interesting regarding that one part where Ubel, one of the students, ends up defeating one of the guys by slicing him in half.
yeah.
After the fight, he had a straight up like I heard. I was like, "Yo, what the hell? Damn!"
Yeah. It was definitely pretty gross, wasn't it?
It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
And then there's the soul track sound itself. Considering it's supposed to be a demon killing spell, although it sounds more like something from the Death Star.
Yeah. We should I want to take a moment because there were a ton of people on Twitter coping and seething uh about the about the about the dub, just like denying, like utterly denying reality and pretending it was good.
Yep, yep.
And
I
I
will.
want
I
to
Go ahead, go ahead. And I would just want to jump in to add to your point.
I want to I want to take a moment to shit on these people. The dub is bad. Bad,
Eh, eh,
bad,
eh,
bad. One of the
No, it's
worst.
not bad. It's dog
Low
shit. Let's be
quality.
accurate about it.
It is
It's
one of the worst dubs I have ever heard in my life.
I would rather hear like crap, quote unquote, crappy, cheesy '90s English dub than this. This was just lazy.
Well,
I don't know
at
how else to
least
put it.
the character, yeah, the in crappy cheesy '90s English dubs, they're either displaying the wrong emotions or they're going way over the top. But with this, it's like
Or they
the
over
chick.
enunciate, or they over enunciate. They go like, "Perfect, I have done it." So like they go ahead, sir.
Yeah, well, the chick who plays Frieren, she,
Horrible.
oh my god,
Sucks so
she
bad. Oh my god.
she sounds like she's trying to be female Steve Blum,
Oh,
except
He,
without except Steve Blum can not only put on a voice but he can act. Like every line from Frieren is just like in the English dub is just like
it's painful.
Fern, Fern,
It's painful.
it
Fern. Do you remember that time from 10 years ago?
yeah,
Where's my paycheck?
it looks like Mallory Rodak tried a little too hard when she was voicing Frieren because
Yeah, in before we get called hateful because that's a woman. That's always like Crunchyroll's like and Funimation's voice
How about you
actors and voice.
start hiring people?
Hold on,
It's not
Nick. I'm saying
Crunchyroll.
something. That's the go-to. Like I'm disappointed in Western media where I can't point out that there's plenty of good voice actors and voice actresses without some moron going, well, you hate them because because insert like crazy accusation. Oh, you don't like Vegeta's voice actor or whoever because you probably support so and so. It's just like, no, I just think you're bad at this role. To like pick a different character, voice another character, please. Like I think what the voice actress got is, oh, I'm the main character of Frieren. I need to sound like I need to sound like a badass. Yeah, I listen. I have not dropped a dub as fast as I dropped this hot potato, and I mean hot potato in a bad way, not a good way, because usually hot potatoes are good things. This isn't even a hot potato. This is just like
It's a hot steaming pile of shit. That's what it is.
yeah. You guys usually
I-
give me shit. You guys usually give me shit for watching dub because I like, admittedly I prefer watching dub because it's easier to, multitask and watch, usually because it's either on Netflix or whatever, some other service that I have access to. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can watch this. I can get a general tone of this character. Not accurate, not always accurate, but generally gets the voice actors and actresses English side, they get it right. Not in this case, because I happened to watch the sub first by accident while looking it up, and I went right back to the sub. I was like, what is this? I get COVID happened and quality has dropped and everything, but this is just shit.
That was 4 years ago. What the? What?
No, Neko. That's the excuse we give nowadays. I can't even give that excuse to this.
It's going
Yeah.
to be it's going to be 2050, and they're still going to say that.
Oh, yeah, the quality dropped because inflation and COVID, and it's just
Oh,
like, no, the
right.
quality dropped because you're lazy.
Because
Look.
we can't hire a good actresses or actors to begin with, and instead we're paying top dollar for shit. Like, okay, how about you bring Rick Manana, for example? You fucking retards.
But it just sounds like they just hired some random chick off the street.
Yes.
Some chick trying to pay off her college debts or something.
Welcome to California, and welcome to California, aka New York's Wall Street's infestation, which is now spread to Texas, which is where Funimation is, I believe. It's like they hire their friends and families and the people they sleep with. Apparently, I could go into that. We could waste an hour here talking about that. But apparently, Vegeta's voice actor is responsible for hiring some of these people, and you can tell. Like he's had some. I've seen some of his interactions with female fans. Everything they said about Vic that fucking Vegeta's voice actor does, he hangs around underage girls like young Midoriya. He just it's like, dude, he's good with Vegeta. He's good with Zoro. He did All Might, and I don't like his All Might. And he fucking goes around like with his fans at conventions doing the exact same things that his friends got on Monica and whatever they got on Vic's case. And now people like him set the standard for dub. That's the problem. Dude, they set the standard for dub. And in the 90s and the 2000s, that was fine. But now it's just like, bro, the quality has dropped. How have you dropped from 90s and 2000s?
So
RJ, chill the fuck out.
I can actually jump in a little bit on this, just to throw in a little bit of context. We have increased the amount of anime from show to show, and like the industry was just so closed that if you look at animes 10 years ago, you see that all of the voice actors were basically the same. It was the same, like 20 to 30 people in almost every show. A lot of those people are either getting too old for the roles now, and their voices are starting to go. We don't have enough people to cover all of the shows. Or
you don't have to cover all of it.
Well, or those people are asking for too much. A lot of the voice actors, they tried to like unionize and then say it's like, oh well, we need to make this much. Anime is getting more popular. We should be getting this much and this much.
Yeah, Troy Baker brought that up. He was pointing that out. He was saying that's why the Silent Hill remaster got screwed. The Voice Actors Guild suddenly thought that they were actual actors.
Yeah, so a lot of these people, yes, a few of them probably do deserve a lot more money, and like they do have some weight behind their roles that they've done. A few of them really don't, and that's why you're seeing like some people being pushed out, some people getting less and less roles, and now this is basically like the past like 2 or 3 years have been like all new hires and auditions and people that have done like it'll say like additional voices for like years and years, and then those people are now coming up. It's like we're in this really weird time where some of the voice actors are doing an amazing fucking job. The voice actor for Solo Leveling is killing it in his role, but like then you get like shows like this where the dub is terrible. So like we've seen a huge increase on how good dub has been, but now it's getting so like we're seeing like the gap happen where it's like, all right, these people are fucking useless, these people are fucking great, and we're slowly weeding out the fucking terrible ones, but it's gonna take some time.
I was just gonna say, I was just watching Delicious and Dungeon today and last week, and like I'm seeing it in the same show. You have the person voicing the female dwarf, and I couldn't tell if it was a dude or a girl, but it was just like they're trying to sound like a gruff female dwarf, and it just I'm like, what are you doing with this voice? I don't understand. But then the other female voice actresses and the male voice actors, splendid. But then every now and then you have like these weird voices, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And like that was just one show where there's like that gap just showing up. But you're talking industry wide, which is even worse.
and then we had the issue with the subs because of the localizers that worked on this show were just as bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically,
all right, that's all I have to say.
The Frieren dub is bad. The Frieren dub is bad. The Frieren dub is bad. Cope and seethe, Twitter. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure they do.
Let's move on to the characters. Now there's only like 3 real main characters. There's quite a lot of there's quite a wide cast of supporting characters. I'll touch on the supporting characters briefly, just in bulk. You have the Frieren's original party that killed the Demon King. And they're with the exception of Eisen, they're quite colorful and interesting characters. And they all sort of have their own motivations. They really do kind of feel like real people. And then later on, you get some characters that sort of filter in and out. But and then you get the first class mage exam arc, and you suddenly get this like really big ensemble cast of characters, and a lot of them are really well fleshed out. They're all quite colorful in their own ways. They all have quite interesting personalities without having to. They have something of like common anime tropes going around, but they're not like relying on them. And each one of these people sort of has their own motivations for taking the exam. Some of them it's just for prestige. Some of them just want to get the free spell. Some of them have like personal stuff going on in their lives that they need for it. And a few of them don't get that much screen time or development. but most of them really do, and most of them are quite good and solid characters in their own right. It's very, very extremely well written.
I have. I'll let you finish your piece, and then I will probably name some of my personal favorite supporters. But
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, Yubel, of course, Yubel is one of my personal favorites because of how unhinged this chick really is, especially when it comes to her ambition. Even her name is in German. It has 4 meanings: nasty, foul, evil, and sick.
Yeah.
Somehow
That
she
sounds about
she
right.
is somehow she is actually one of the best selected characters. Then honorable mention, I would have to say Serie, because Serie really hates Frieren. Like, goddamn, I never seen anyone so spiteful like her.
Oh yeah.
She really doesn't want her. She's one of her biggest haters. Like, goddamn.
I liked Denkin a lot. Denkin, I really liked his motivations. I really liked how he approaches people, how he sort of deals with other people as an old man and a diplomat.
The guy, the guy kind of reminds me of the guy actually reminds me of Theodore Roosevelt for some reason.
It's probably the monocle.
The monocle and the fact that he wants to fight using his bare fist.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in and start talking about Frieren herself. Now, Frieren,
I wanted to mention.
Frieren, what
Go
do you
ahead,
want to mention?
I wanted to mention. I want to mention Laween and Kana or Khan. Those two. Oh dear lord, those two were never fighting. Holy shit, that was more.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Frieren. Let's go with Frieren. Okay.
So Frieren, Frieren as a character, she's an elf that has lived for well over 1,000 years. So she's seen a lot of humans be born, grow up, grow old, and die in what seems like a very short amount of time to her. And really anything that a human would think of as a long period of time is sort of just the passing of a season for her. And that's that's really reflected in how she's written. I really like how the show depicts elves. She's very aloof. She could almost seem kind of cold, even though she's not. She's not actually cold. She's not like unkind. But she has this sort of detached, aloof, kind of uh, way that she carries herself because she's gone through, because she's just been around for so long, and the life of anyone she meets is like it is like the passing of an afternoon to her.
I would go insane if I was in Frieren's position age wise, because it's like you can't even become too attached to people.
Yeah, and she kind of doesn't for the most part.
Yep.
She's because there aren't very many elves around. She's spent most of her life living a very solitary lifestyle, and and she only sort of started to. She only really started to like realize the value of sort of small moments in time, and like uh meeting people like after she went on the quest to defeat the Demon King, and came home and witnessed her two human friends or her two human party members grow old and die, and took on Fern as as an apprentice. Frieren, you would expect her to be very wise and very knowledgeable due to her age, and she is. But she also has a lot of eccentricities. She's very obsessed with collecting seemingly weak and mostly useless spells. Like
Yeah.
she gladly took on a spell that cleans the light blue patina off of copper. She and her favorite spell creates a field of flowers.
That one is because it reminds me of her master, Flum. So
Josh, if you haven't already, you should put that meme on screen. The cat that's the smiling cat where it's like collecting rocks, but it's Frieren collecting spells. Like she likes collecting spells.
oh man, you know what's funny? There were some people on Reddit that were assuming that Frieren had the tism for some reason.
Like, yeah, the reason like socially different is because she's literally a fucking elf.
Yeah,
they don't get that. Like I have the tism, and I don't fucking go like, oh hey, this character is that. It's no, this character is like an elf living among humans.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Oh, she's naturally very she's naturally very different from almost any human that you'd meet. And that is because she's an elf and because she's lived for so goddamn long. Let's move on to Fern. Now Fern, oddly enough, is also quite introverted and aloof.
She's actually a full knit and more than anything else. Let's be honest, especially her interactions with Stark.
Yeah. Well, she's very introverted and aloof, but she also she's also like that less like consistently than Frieren. It's a lot easier to upset Fern. She has kind of a short temper, a little bit.
She's literally me for real.
But she and of course she's also quite a lot less like wise or experienced as Frieren. But she becomes a very powerful mage in her own right. And she ends up being able to do certain things that Frieren can't do. A lot of the focus on her character is really sort of her like her ability to very rapidly change over the course of her lifetime, as opposed to the very slow, constant, almost stoic consistency of Frieren. And that sort of like sets their dynamic. Fern to Frieren sort of becomes a different person almost in the blink of an eye. She obviously grows bigger, and she seems to mature both physically and mentally very, very rapidly in Frieren's eyes. Whereas to Fern, Frieren is seemingly just always the same person, and any changes that do come about so subtly that they go unnoticed. And that sort of sets the dynamic between master and apprentice in this show.
I like the fact that Frieren also takes a motherly figure to Fern, considering that she's an orphan.
Yeah,
and that is something that goes beyond master and student. And in the case of Fern, she is very capable. I mean, she practically passed the exam with flying colors and everything. And I'll be honest with you. If there's something I don't like about Fern, it's the fact how bad she treats Stern, man. That's dark. Sorry. Like she does this dude dirty every single time. I'm not sure if it's kind of relief or it really happens just to piss me off.
Fern is just a young woman with kind of a short temper. One of the things is that about the show is that the characters all act very, very naturally to how you would expect that kind of person to act, like literally all the time.
Yeah, it's really good writing for that.
You basically never see characters act in a way that's not believable. Even when you're dealing with characters that are very abstract from anything that you normally see in the real world, they still act in a way that you would expect someone like that to act. And hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
She means well. I will say that she means well. The problem is that Fern has issues expressing her emotions sometimes.
Yeah, she is very, very introverted. Probably even more so than Frieren.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to Stark.
Wait, hold up. Can I just I gotta jump in. I liked Guerrilla Warrior's character design because he reminded me of every other shonen. He looked
Guerrilla
like a
warrior.
Oh, you didn't pay attention to that? Oh, never mind. Black-haired. He's a black-haired swordsman. Anyways, he's in the story. I liked his design. But I will say you're correct about Fern because I was mentioning before the podcast. I found Fern a little bit annoying when she was little and as an adult. So, but you're right. It does make sense given her circumstances and whatnot, and also as a character, it made sense. It would make sense she acts like that. I just kind of found it annoying. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so let's move on to Stark. Now, Stark was the apprentice of Eisen, who was the dwarf warrior in Frieren's party, hero party. And Stark, when we first meet him, he's a very strong warrior, but he's very afraid to go into combat. He doesn't have like he's despite his strength, he's still basically just a kid at this point. So when you first meet him, uh he can't quite get the job that he has to do done because he's just petrified with fear.
To be fair,
And
so is Eisen. He
yeah,
especially when it came to the big bosses.
but he just needed somebody to come by and temper him, and sort of be able to get him to get past his fears, and embrace the bravery that he needs. And it really it really put it's a really nice change of pace from like other shonen protagonists who they're basically fearless all the time, whereas Stark Stark is a lot like how soldiers actually are in real life. They're like getting like fighting in wars and stuff is actually really terrifying. Ask anyone who's actually done it. And the bravery that he shows when he actually does get into fights, um, it really feels a lot more earned because he was afraid to do it.
If there's something I really respect about Stark is his charisma. This dude has it by the ass loads, especially when it comes to the town.
Yeah, he's definitely a needed contrast between his two very introverted party members, because you don't want like you don't want like everyone in the show to sort of be kind of introverted. So he was definitely really needed. Uh, he would be a lot more talkative, a lot more willing to sort of deal with the locals. He'll accidentally make Fern angry, and the sort of back and forth between him and Fern is really entertaining and also quite precious. I like it quite a bit. And it's again, he's just extremely well written, like all the other characters.
He's a good kid, honestly. I actually like him. Like
Yeah.
he, in a way, he also has the same charisma as Himmel.
Yeah, he is kind of like Hemo. And Hemo, well, I'll touch on him briefly. His he kind of wanted to his motivation was kind of on the outside. It was his own ego to be to be known as a famous hero. But Himmel would like just go out of his way to do seemingly menial stuff just to just to help someone along the way.
Mhm.
And his sort of philosophy and his actions have touched so many people. Uh, many of the characters who are adults now were children when they met Himmel, and and meeting him had massive impacts on their lives, had a massive impact on Frieren herself. Um, so and Stark is kind of similar to him, but not exactly the same.
I will say that in the case of Himmel, well, I understand his motivation for not being forgotten. If you die without doing anything that's out of the ordinary, will you actually be remembered for millennia?
Yeah.
Will
And as it turns out, you might not be, even if you do something crazy, something very memorable. You might not be remembered for millennia, because there's this elf character Croft,
Oh,
who also uh, did something that saved the world like 500 to 1,000 years ago.
Mhm.
And there's statues of him around, but nobody remembers who he is,
Yeah, they
which
don't.
is a pretty interesting take.
Yeah, they don't remember his name or the guy or the guy whose sign is looking for.
Yeah,
We could talk about sign if we want. He
let's
was because
let's actually, 'cause we can talk about the characters for hours and hours and hours.
yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Let's uh let's move on to the plot and the writing.
Okay.
So the plot in this show, it it largely focuses on uh the sort of small things that the characters face on a day-to-day in their day-to-day lives. Um they do have like an overall goal, but a lot of it is just them sort of meandering from town to town and getting into small misadventures along the way, which is a very 90s anime thing to do. Like a lot of really long 90s shows kind of did this, but it also sort of like doubles and triples down on it, where where you would have you would have uh a fight like every episode, or in a 90s show, whereas this one uh there often isn't a fight. Sometimes they're just solving a very simple problem um for a local person. Um and they're and a lot of the times you'll go 3, 4, 5 episodes, maybe even sometimes maybe even longer. I don't know if it goes 6 or 7 episodes. Well, maybe without any action scenes at all. Um, which is which is a very bold thing to do. Um, is I think most writers would assume that if you don't have something very dramatic or something action packed in every episode, that most people would get bored. But that doesn't really seem to be the case. It really seems to do it off. Considering its massive breakout success and its and the rave reviews from audiences. So they had this very risky, very slow paced writing style, where the focus was mostly on the interpersonal sort of interactions and characters' memories and experiences, and it seems to have paid off. I mean, there's some people who don't like it, but it seems to have paid off for the most part.
These people don't have taste.
Not necessarily.
Nah, they don't have taste. I'm sorry. They don't have taste.
Let's be honest for a second.
Look,
in a
I
way,
do not like slow anime, but I like this one. Come on. If I like this one, trust me, you guys have no taste.
Yeah. It's definitely it's definitely a thing. That being said, there are a lot of really interesting things that do happen when when the plot does really pick up and there is some action. I liked the arc with the demons a lot. At first it sort of made me think that it was going to be a story about Frieren just being too old and stuck in her ways, and she needs to learn to be more tolerant. But then we come to find out that she's absolutely right, and that the demons are just pure evil and need to be destroyed, which is not what I expected, and it was it got a lot of reactions from people.
We know that one line that she said when she fought
Yeah,
Aura.
let's not try to spoil it too much, because it did just the show did just close.
Yeah. It is truly one of the most magical things I have ever seen in that anime.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really hard to encapsulate what exactly the sort of special sauce this anime has. And I think it is just it is just the really tight and really the really tight and really really high level writing that they have, combined with the risks that they took. I think that's what sort of makes this show appealing. Much like Violet Evergarden, where most of the show is very slow paced. There isn't isn't really brought up isn't really carried by action. You would expect a shonen anime to be carried by action, but if anything, the action that it does have is is actually made even better by the fact that it is quite rare. You don't it there's a lot of this show is sort of just slowing down and taking in the scenery rather than going 70 miles per hour on the highway just to get to the destination.
Well, you know what they say, the destination is just as important as the journey.
God.
And yeah, that was bad. But and also the fact that Frieren's motivation, if I had to add this, she actually has some regrets, and one of them is she didn't get to know the guys better.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely sad because sometimes when you're in a professional relationship with people, you hardly ever know them past the
Yeah.
surface. And sometimes that doesn't fly well for me personally.
Yeah.
But we try at least to find something in common. And I mean, I do remember a couple of things with you guys, like a couple of things that we did that were hilarious, yes. And
Yeah.
so on. And honestly, in the case of in the case of how this show is done, this is basically a long road trip until they reach the final destination, which is aptly named Enda.
Yep. And we didn't even really get there. I think we've maybe seen like half the story or something.
Yeah, I have the story
About
because
so.
they were leaving house they were leaving Aushurst. Sorry, yeah, Aushurst. By the time the final episode rolled in.
Yeah. And it's like 28 episodes, and there were only like maybe 4 arcs.
Mm-hmm.
I think so that should give you an idea of just how slow the show actually is. Maybe there were 5 arcs. But it is very, very slow paced, and it makes it really makes it stand out. But it's definitely something that could not be done without extremely good writing, and that's just what I have to say about it. I mean, the plot is there isn't really any plot holes in it. It's just extremely well written, and it makes all the difference.
There must have been some weird stuff we might have skipped, you know? That we might have any flaws that we might have found.
I mean, I
It's not
can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Agreed.
Because the only thing I can think of is like if you're is more of like taste things, like
Yeah.
so some people can't some people just don't want to watch something slow, which I understand. It doesn't really bother me if it is too like slow for you.
Well, you have to be in the mood for that thing.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're not, I mean, it's like
So
you go to watch Dune and instead they're showing you like was it Fast 10 or something? It's like that's and vice
yeah.
versa.
So let's move on to how long have we been streaming? Like an hour? Josh?
according to the stream.
About an hour, yeah.
All right. Let's move on to our conclusions and ratings. Why don't you start, RJ?
Well, good thing you picked me because mine's pretty short. I was kind of disappointed that there wasn't as much combat, or situations in episodes where like a dragon shows up, or like, hey, the town said there's orcs on the edge of the town, blah 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 blah. You know, like random events in fantasy games and fantasy shows and stuff. The lack of that kind of bugged me. This felt more like slice of life in a fantasy setting almost. But I don't know. That kind of bothered me. I don't really enjoy that kind of thing. I don't like dramas. I always kind of mildly cringe at dramas. It's like, yeah, I have enough problems in my own life. I don't need some fictional character's problems in my head. But like, it's why I prefer like operatic formula stuff. You know, like shonen action, some seinen, anything where there's a crescendo, there's action. If there is relaxation, you know, it's within reason. You know, I'm not here for the main character's regrets about another character from 30 years ago. Like, sure, I'll be there for an episode or two, but an entire show based off of somebody's regrets and, you know, how their life changes afterwards. I was actually more interested in how they took out the Demon King. That caught my interest, and I was disappointed that it was like a sliver of all that. So, but other than that, I liked it. It was all right. I can't be unfair to it because for what it is, it's well made. So I give it an 8 out of 10.
All right, Striker.
First things first, I want to commend the voice actors who worked in the Japanese version for giving Elder God, especially the main character herself, the main character. Atsumi Tanesaki is a hell of a talent of an actress. This is the same woman who voices Anya Forger in Spy Family, and yet look at how she did Frieren. It was incredible. It was something I had to commend to her because of that range. You know, it takes raw talent for something like this. Anyways, this show, I was actually watching it on and off. I was watching, I was checking the memes. I was checking the information. I dug deep into this anime. I dug deep into the series, and let me tell you, the more I learned, the more I found. The more I actually found interest. It was incredible, actually. That and it really didn't help that I had a nasty cold last week when I was starting the show. I was watching the first 12 episodes while having a massive headache. It was incredibly frustrating. But it wasn't the show. It was actually the illness more than anything else. I wasn't gonna give up. And then just last night, I finished the rest of the series, and it stuck with me. Yeah, it's not perfect, and we all know that about that one spurga that happened in my anime list with the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood fan base. You MFers really need a life for real. Not everything. It's crazy.
I'll let them burn. Let them burn.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah,
either way, back to the show.
RJ,
we're running out of time, Lewis.
We'll love you, RJ.
Dude, this is related to the show. Okay. So, yeah, this was more of a road trip and an adventure more than a TV show. This didn't feel like a shonen. This felt more like a seinen to me. This felt more like I would say something like an old school. Will say it best. An old school fantasy adventure movie from the olden days. Even more so from the golden era of anime. So I'm gonna be brief. What is my score for this one? After much consideration, I'm gonna take out 5 from the English dub. Honestly, and the English adaptation. 9.5. This is a 9.5. I hardly ever give out the score to an anime, but this one is promising, and I sincerely hope Madhouse doesn't fuck it up like they did with One Punch Man. And actually,
well, that wasn't on Madhouse. That was the publisher / IP holder that did One Punch Man. Yeah.
I sincerely beg the mangaka himself. Let me check the list. Yeah, Kanehito Yamada-san. I would like you to be consistent about your IP. Same goes with the illustrator, Tsukasabe. Please be consistent. Kenichiro Saito-san, yes, please. The director of the anime, please be consistent. This show is good. Don't fuck it up. The same goes with Suzuki-san, Tomohiro Suzuki. He's the anime writer. Please, all you guys in the Japanese Madhouse, don't fuck it up. I love the show. I want it to be successful. I want the show to be good. I want the show to be as legendary as some of the greats. I want this show to be, because here's the thing, this show has soul. This show has soul, man. I have to say it. This show has soul. There's no other way to express it. This is something else. I want shows like this. I want animes like this. I want animes that can be just as successful, that can be remembered for a long time. That everything is nearly flawless, you know? I am being the most passionate I am tonight right now. Cheers, I feel on my face. This is incredible. Really, 9.5 is actually the highest I'm gonna be giving it. Please don't mess it up. This is a threat.
All right, Neko.
All right, I haven't spoken too much because I have a cold, so pardon my. Don't worry, it's not coof. It's not a beer virus.
No, it's
yet.
It's a season. Don't worry. I'm actually recovering for that myself.
Now, here's the thing. Do I like the show more than like something like Full Metal Alchemist? No. Why? Because of people brought up that thing already. It's half the thing, and it's not finished. Give me the second half of it, and it's gonna be 9 out of 10. So far, I can only give it like 8.
All right.
That's the only flaw of the other thing that I can see.
So, I was very pleasantly surprised with this show. I was expecting, so I'd never heard of it before. I didn't know about the manga or anything. So I was just sort of expecting this to be the latest sort of seasonal anime. I only really just got back into watching seasonal anime with Bocchi the Rock, and I thought that was like okay. But I decided to watch this afterwards because I was kind of bored. And I was shocked at how good it was, and I was immediately like, we have to review this. Like there's no way we can't. And it's a real phenomenon in the anime scene. I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned from it. And I just hope the studios and producers learn the right lessons. And that is that if you take big risks and you put a lot of money and a lot of time into the writing and the animation, it will pay off. It will pay off. It will make you a lot of money, and you will be very highly rated and remembered. You'll get plenty of viewers, and you'll probably sell a ton of merch. Because people like the show so much. and it's really been wild. Because right now it is number one on my anime list,
Mhm.
above Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and basically the entire time I've used Mal, nothing has passed it and stayed there. And it
Not
looks
even
like
close.
it looks like it is going to just sit there at 9.39,
Yep.
which is like it
Last.
that is an insane uh score for a review aggregate site. Because they tend they like these sites scores tend to trend towards average.
Mhm.
It's basically the collective will of the people to rate everything a 7 out of 10.
Yep.
So the fact that it's at 9.39 is crazy.
That means a
Um,
lot of tens.
Yeah.
At least half of them.
Yeah. And I think if the studios and the producers learn the right lessons from this, then we might see uh another sort of golden age of anime, but this time as anime has also reached a crescendo of popularity in the
Yeah, I don't
West.
know about. You're too
But
optimistic, my friend.
maybe,
You're too
but a
optimistic.
man can dream, can he?
Oh yeah, please, please dream, please. I love that dream.
Yeah.
Inject that dream into my vein, please. I love it. I would love it.
But we'll have to see. Um, it's certainly not going. It's certainly going to leave a massive influence. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that.
Mhm.
As far as what I would give it, I mean, I think the only other thing I've rated this is Laputa Castle in the Sky. I'm giving it a 10.
Oof.
That's awesome.
Oof.
Jesus. That is a
Well,
very rare instance, actually.
All right, what's the
All
math
right,
here?
so that is an 8.875. If I did that right, yeah,
Oh,
8,
no, wait,
10,
no, wait.
9.
The
Yeah,
9.39 in my anime list, and the IMDb score is 9.0 out of 10.
no,
Yeah.
so we're right there. I also want to run down. I was looking at some other things. I just really want to quickly run this down. Um, I'm not going to pronounce any of these names correctly, but basically it won a bunch of manga awards too. It won 1, 2, 3, 4 manga awards. Came in 2 second places, a third place, and a fifth place.
Yeah.
The anime got a fourth place, and where was the other one? And a second place. But the soundtrack got let's see, on the Japanese on just Japanese music awards, it got 16th for its
All
music,
right.
and it won best music at the Tokyo Anime Award Festival.
Whoa.
hmm.
So
So music-wise, it's one of the best shows. Like I was actually looking forward to it. I'm really disappointed I didn't watch it because of all my fucking shit in my life. But like outside of that, like it's been winning literally everything. Like just like looking at other things, like some people are uh rating it close to the same level of like Zelda, with the same level of like music composition. It's Yeah, and like just writing wise, it was voted like one of the best mangas. So like you have the story, you have the right music, as long as like the voice acting's good, which obviously we talked about the dub, but you know, it is what
Yeah.
it is. Um,
Some of you guys are normies, so
All right.
let
One
them know.
more thing. Who's best girl?
Who's best girl?
Frieren.
What about you, Lewis? Who you think best girl is?
Best girl? Definitely Frieren. And it's tied between Frieren, Sadie, and Yuval for me. And
All right. I think it's Serie.
Oh,
Ah.
God. Okay.
Frieren
You're
for
allowed
me.
to be wrong.
Frieren is both pretty and highly intelligent.
she's also
Yes.
cute.
All right. Let's close this out. You guys have a good rest of your evening, and have fun. Have fun with spring, and we'll be back in June.
yeah,
Yeah.
June.
Damn.
All right.
And I will
Don't
watch it
drink
this
too
time.
much. And
I
don't
will
get
watch it.
cold.
Yeah,
All right.
you heard us.
Oh, we might be doing one thing is we don't know what anime we're gonna do, but we will definitely be doing another tournament in the summer because I want to at least do a summer tournament for like our homies over at with our homies over at Thundaria.
All right.